the legs. We're going to go down south. We're going to talk about what happens with your legs. And there's a couple of variations that you can do with the rocking horse as far as what your leg action is, and then what muscles are targeted depending on whether you have a straight leg or a bent knee. Now your legs with a rocking horse can vary. You can indicate that you want them to have straighter legs, or you can have them with more bent knee action. They do feel different, and you can do different things with those two movement patterns. So be aware that they are different. Straighter leg action, or the bent knee action. When I work with my straight legs, I get more quadricep activation and I get more hamstring activation. It feels like it requires more effort. Now, if I bend my knee, it changes the intensity. And that's moving at the same pace. The intensity is a lot easier. So as a modification, you can ask people to bend their knees. When I request people to bend their knees, I go faster. So a rocking horse can be done big. It can also be done quickly. And that's great for getting heart rate up. And also it's important to not always do all your exercises at the same speed, because we miss out on working all the muscle fibers. When we go faster, we work more fast twitch fibers. And the shorter range movement pattern lends to it beautifully. So we can go quick. The arm pattern's exactly the same, it's just faster. And you are still on your toes, but you're bending the knees at the front and at the back. I just want to reiterate a point here that I think is really, really important. And look, I've been doing this for a long time, just like most of you, all right? I know that I'm not alone here, and I know I'm talking to people with a lot of experience. But with all the different courses and trainings that I've learned, and now reading so much more, there's so much more information now about trying to age well, okay? Aging well, and also being active as we age. And that's something that's very topical now. It's very, very topical. And I think COVID has also made this a lot more topical as a conversation, because we're looking at a demographic still is much more vulnerable to COVID because of health, and also we're looking down the path about in another 10 or 15 years that we are going to have a lot more people at the older adult age group, that we want them to make sure, and I'm going to be in that age group, I want to live independently, and I do not want to have the words frail and weak and dependent be part of my vocabulary about describing who I am. So I'm definitely going to be in that age group. So one of the things that I think we've got to be really careful of is thinking that because people get older, they should be moving slower. And when we do that, we actually do them a massive disservice, because when they don't train their fast twitch fibers, when they don't do anything that requires any sort of speed, they lose their power. And when they lose their power, this is when people have a lot more trouble with going up and down stairs, getting up out of a chair, being able to do a lot of everyday tasks that often require some acceleration to get the body moving. Only yesterday I was teaching my aqua class, and one of my participants was having she was just sharing with me after the class. We talked for probably a good 30 minutes, I think, and she was talking about her husband, who, you know, and Christine is in amazing shape. You know, she's just really fit, really, really healthy, and she's 77. And she said her husband, who's 5 years old, she said just all of a sudden, she said, and it just feels like it happened overnight, he's moving a lot slower, he can't pick things up off the ground. She goes, it literally happened like almost overnight. She said, I watched him get out of bed and it took him 5 minutes to just get into the C position. She's asking him questions like, why? What's going on with you? And, you know, it's just really interesting to listen to this woman. I wasn't offering any suggestions or feedback. It's not my place. I was just really, my role was to just listen and be a sounding board for her to share some concerns that she's having that she probably might not feel comfortable about sharing with other people. And her real, I suppose, fear about watching her life partner now deteriorating dramatically. And, you know, like she said, he won't do any exercise, he won't do anything. And I said to Christine, you know, the challenge here is that, as you know, exercise is probably the very best thing for him to do. And what he's done now is, because he's been progressively moving slower and slower, everything takes him a really long time. She's worried about being able to be a caregiver for him, being able to support him, and she's really concerned. There's some really deep concerns there. Now, for us, when we teach our water classes, we have people who already are committed, who've already signed up to be able to improve their health and fitness. That's why they're there. But then they're there, and it's up to us to take on some responsibility about their outcome. Now, if our classes do not have anything that moves quickly, that forces them to move out of their comfort zone as far as their speed is concerned, we are going to encourage dynapenia. Dynapenia is something that happens around about 62, 63. It's called age-related slowing. And this is when the muscle fibers in our body, we've got fast twitch and we've got slow twitch and we've got lots of bits in between, like it's not exactly half like that. But the fast twitch fibers actually start losing their nerve innervation because people aren't stimulating those fast twitch fibers to work. So what happens is the nerves that go to the fast twitch fibers actually start to die off, they deteriorate. And the nerves that go to the slow twitch fibers branch out and attach themselves onto fast twitch fibers. And what happens is, because the nerves get the signal for endurance, the endurance muscles, slow twitch fibers, but they move slower, and fast twitch fibers actually start taking on the characteristics of the slow twitch. And what happens is, eventually, is that people lose that ability to activate or fire those muscles quickly because the nerves basically don't innervate them. The fast twitch fiber nerves no longer attached to them. And that's a real concern, right? Now, dynapenia will happen if we do not train our fast twitch. We can continue to train our fast twitch and maintain our fast twitch fibers really, really effectively, but we have to move with speed. We have to move with power. Now, you may disagree with me, but go ahead, read up on it, because I think it's really interesting information, and it's something that really encouraged me to make sure that I did educate my clients about that, but also educate myself, because when we talk about 62, 63, it starts happening a little bit earlier than that, but that's when we see a significant change in the way people move and their speed, if they choose not to train those fast twitch fibers. Now, as aqua instructors, we actually have to do that a little bit by teaching our water classes, but we also need to encourage that movement in the pool. My suggestion to you is get in the water, work out what moves work well with speed and how you can manipulate that. Rocking horse is a really good one. It's a great one because all you do is change the lever length, because you can't do big rocking horse fast. There is power with throwing yourself forwards. That's definitely got power, and that requires you to use a lot of force to throw yourself forwards. But also think about things that require speed and things that require speed with the arms and the lower body. Okay, so rocking horse does that really, really, really well. Shorten your levers So when you're demonstrating, you are bending your knees. Now, if you're going to do straight leg, make sure that your legs are straight when you do it. But when you're doing the short ones, make sure you demonstrate with speed too, my friends. You demonstrate with speed as well to encourage them to also move a little bit quicker. I'm not saying you do this the whole way through the class. I'm just saying that you need to make sure that there's parts of the workout and you might marry them together.